I'm Tom Cenci. I'm the executive chef of Nessa in Soho, London. Nessa is a restaurant in Soho. Those who don't know, it's in London. There's a few Sohos around the world. It's a bistro, a play off a brasserie, but we'd like to use British food. And so we haven't gone down the French route. We've gone, very seasonal British. We champion a lot of British produce. It's exciting for us because we get to showcase what the best of Britain's about by also playing on British bistro dishes that kind of like a lot of people will know, and playing a lot of nostalgia. And it's, for us, it's not just playing on food to try and change the dishes. We really want to invoke something in people when they come and eat the food that it reminds them of a childhood or a dish that they once had, but it's not too different from it. The brigade that we have in the kitchen is about 25 chefs altogether. We're open 7 days a week, so we need to be able to cover breakfast, lunch and dinner. We're extremely busy on most of the services, so yeah, quite a lot on at one time. Got obviously kitchen porters in there too, which can't be forgotten. So opening it for almost a year, obviously it has its challenges. We're still so new, but then we're established at the same time. So it's a strange feeling to kind of have this thing where everyone knows who you are, but you're still kind of finding your feet. The brigade's been very solid for us, and we've kept a lot of the same staff, which is really great to see in a hospitality industry that can change a lot. We've got some exciting plans coming up for the rest of this year, and we hope to have quite a big party for our 1 year anniversary. Maybe. Maybe. Even though we're very British, we don't just use British food or British dishes, and so it's just trying to play on certain elements that you've learned over the years. I think I always try to be different. I try to be as original as possible, which is very hard in today's age, but I think if you can think outside the box slightly and just try to do things that no one else is doing and be the first to do it, it really kind of shows that you're kind of leading the way and leading the edge. Some of the dishes that we have on the menu at Nessa are just, when you first open, it's really difficult to know how well they'll be received and what your iconic dishes will be. Yes, so my journey into hospitality is a long road. I've worked at many different places. I was at school. I wrote off to the local hotels to do work experience, and Clifton Hotel got back to me, and I did work experience with them for 2 weeks and absolutely loved it. Fell in love with cooking, fell in love with kitchens, and I just wanted to be a chef from that moment. I then moved into central London and worked at 1 Lombard Street under Herbert Berger. And after about 3 months of opening, we gained a Michelin star, which opened up my eyes to a very different style of cooking. Moved to Paris, worked in a 2 Michelin star restaurant there, and that was tough. Going abroad, away from family, friends, a different language, different style of cooking. It was really hard to kind of bed in and into a different culture. After that, I kind of had enough of Michelin cooking and came back to London and cooked at the Noble Rot restaurant, but the original Noble Rot. Everyone kind of gets it mixed up with the Noble Rots of today. And it was a very different style of cooking, very modern, a different approach. The chef Julian Owen Mould was fantastic of how he ran the kitchen and just the brigade, and just with respect, and it was a pleasure to work for and just to think of food differently. I ended up working for Julian many years later in Canada, and that's when I kind of really opened my eyes about produce and seasonality. We were working just outside of Whistler. We were up a mountain. Basically you had to use the produce around you. There was very few deliveries a week from the cities and from elsewhere, so if it wasn't sourced locally, you weren't being able to cook with it. So it kind of really opened my eyes to championing local produce and seasonal produce, and kind of haven't really looked back on my style of cooking since then.